Have you ever heard something that didn't just pass through your ears, but stayed? A sound that became a part of your memory before you even understood why? English can be like that. One sentence, one word, one rhythm, and it lingers. That's the kind of learning that sticks. One of the best ways to learn English is through stories. Stories carry more than just vocabulary. They carry moments, voices, and feeling. They turn language into experience. If you're serious about learning English through emotion and meaning, subscribe to Fluentory and leave us a comment. It was a late spring afternoon in Istanbul. The sky was clear, but not too blue. Armin had arrived in the city 3 days earlier, visiting an old friend. But that day he was alone. He wanted to explore on his own, without any plans or directions. So, he took the tram toward the center and got off at Taksim Square. The square was alive. Children ran across the stones. Tourists posed for photos near the Republic Monument. Locals sat on benches, drinking tea from small tulip-shaped glasses. The call of seagulls mixed with distant traffic and laughter. Armin stood in the middle for a while, letting the sounds of the city wash over him. He pulled out his camera but didn't take any pictures. Something told him to just wait. And then he heard it. A sound, soft, metallic, rhythmic. Not loud but clear. Like raindrops over a drum. It floated across the square, above the voices and footsteps, pulling him gently. He turned toward the music. There, near the edge of the square where the trees began, sat a woman. She looked to be in her 30s, with curly dark hair tied loosely behind her head. In front of her was a handpan, a round, UFO-shaped instrument that shimmered in the sunlight. Her fingers moved slowly but precisely, tapping and gliding across its surface, producing a melody that was both ancient and new. Armin walked closer and sat on a bench nearby. For a long moment he didn't move. The music was not dramatic. It didn't build or explode. It just flowed. It made space. He noticed people beginning to slow down. A man pushing a cart stopped and rested. A child sat cross-legged on the pavement. A woman with a headscarf stood with her arms folded, eyes closed. Even the pigeons moved more softly. Armin felt something shift inside him. He didn't know what the song was. He didn't even know if it had a name. But it reminded him of something, of waiting in the rain as a child, of walking alone in winter, of holding someone's hand in silence. He wanted to cry. Not from sadness, but from something softer. When the music stopped, the square didn't cheer or applaud. It just breathed. The woman opened her eyes and looked around, then smiled, not like a performer, but like someone finishing a prayer. Armin stood up and approached her. "That was beautiful," he said. "Do you have a recording of it?" She shook her head gently. No. I only play it once." He paused. What's it called?" She looked at him. "It doesn't have a name. It belongs to the moment." He nodded. He reached into his pocket and placed a coin into her open case. Then, after a second thought, he added the small shell he'd kept in his wallet since last summer, a tiny piece of his own past. As he walked away, the sound of the handpan stayed in his ears. Not exactly like before, but still there. Like something whispering quietly in the background of the world. That night, back in his friend's apartment, Armin couldn't sleep. He lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, trying to recall the exact notes of the melody. He picked up his phone to write about it, but no sentence felt right. He typed and deleted again and again. Finally, he wrote, "I heard something today that reminded me who I was before language." And that was enough. In today's story, you learned natural phrases and structures like pulling him gently, not from sadness, but from something softer, and like someone finishing a prayer. These expressions bring depth and emotion to your English, helping you not just to speak, but to feel what you're saying. We share stories like this every single day on Fluentory to help you learn English through memory, emotion, and storytelling. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tell us in the comments, what's one sound you'll never forget? See you in the next video.